Hey everyone, my name is Hlib. I run GTM department at Strongest Group. We help B2B companies grow, enter, penetrate new markets, and we do so by implementing different go-to-market systems into their sales process, right? And we help them consistently generate new pipeline, new deals. And in today's video, I think it's a really interesting topic. I want to talk about top 5 outbound plays that generate for us 500 plus replies monthly. So I want to share some of the sauce which we've been using ourselves, which we've been implementing for our clients, and something which definitely brings a lot of results. And people quite often ask me, Hlib, how do you do it? And this video might be the answer for this question. So before we begin, we need to make sure we understand the current problem. The problem is that code lists are dead while signals are alive. You've heard about signal-based outreach and campaigns quite often, but you don't really know what this means. It means that you have to leverage some sort of triggers which can identify who is in buying mode right now. And the old way of doing outbound was like, just buy the Apollo list from some resellers or scrapers. You pay them $10 for 5K contacts. You just blast the same email to all people. You get like 1 to 3% reply rate. You burn your domain, your infrastructure is completely gone, and the majority of your messages are ignored. However, the new way of doing things in 2026, it is completely different. You have targeted lists from real signals. So if there is no pretty much signal or trigger, it doesn't really make sense to reach out to people. Then relevance is built into the message. So the core of the message revolves around relevance. You get 10% plus reply rates consistently. Yes, it is possible, and I'll show you how. And also, you send fewer emails. The volume is generally smaller. However, your pipeline grows bigger. So that's the whole kind of approach in 2026, the right way of doing things. And here are the 5 plays which I'm going to talk about. So we have lookalike campaigns, social listening, website visitor tracking, complementary tool followers or competitor tool followers, and event outbound. The first play is lookalike campaigns. What does it mean? I mean, you already have a really great source of clients and leads. You are just not leveraging this sort of angle. So the idea would be to take top 10, top 20, top 50, dependent on how many successful case studies you have. You take those closed-won accounts, right? Then what you do, you identify what all of those have in common, whether it's size, a stage at which they came to you, either it's like some event or trigger, and then you build a list of companies which match all of those traits, and then you just outbound them. It's simple as that. So for example, you work with B2B SaaS companies. You take a look at your most successful case studies and you think like, what do they have in common? Then you identify, all right, they were seed round B2B SaaS. They had only 3 people in their marketing team, right? They have recently hired maybe chief marketing officer, etc. So this creates sort of full picture, which you then go inside Clay or go inside any other tools. You build a list of the companies which match all of those traits, you score them, and you start reaching out to the top priority ones. And how we run it, as you can see, we again pull the closed-won accounts from CRM, we run them through Ocean.io and Clay, we extract firmographic tag traits, then we build a list of similar companies, and then we personalize by referencing their lookalike status. Pretty much you can say, hey, we worked with the similar company, we've got them amazing results, would you be interested to know our playbook for them? Simple as that. And you can expect really 8 to 12% reply rate on those campaigns easily. The next play is social listening. So this means we catch buyers when they are already raising their hand. But what does it mean, social listening? I made a video about it. You might have seen it already. However, if you haven't, I'll repeat it. So we monitor activity on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on X, on Reddit for some buying signals. This could be complaint about the competitor, the post about their pain points, maybe job changes, hiring sprees. And our goal is to reach out to them within 24 hours of this post being live. And how we do it, you use the tool such as Trigify to identify 5 to 10 trigger keywords or phrases. This is super important. Then you set up Trigify pretty much to monitor them. Then you can connect it to Slack, works really, really well, so that your team gets notified when someone qualified has posted. Then you can automate this process further by sending all of the relevant leads to Clay. Clay will process them. Clay can score them. And for the ones which are the fit, talking about the problem, talking about solution, complaining, they'll get automatic LinkedIn connection request. And as soon as they accept it, they'll get the message. But you gotta move fast here. Maybe for LinkedIn, you don't want to do too many leads, but rather focus on email, which is much quicker. There is no delay between sending connection requests and sending the message. But this works really well. And for some clients, we were really able to crack it up till the point where they get 50-60% reply rate. So this signal or like this play is really overpowered in some cases. The next one is website visitor tracking. This works mostly, I would say, for the US market, because in Europe we have GDPR, we have compliance stuff. So it is a bit illegal, I would say, to track at least on person level data who is visiting your website. But if you have a strong traffic for the US, please, you might want to know how this works. So basically we take a tool such as RB2B and we install a pixel that de-anonymizes website visitors at the company and individual level. And then you can, again, add the hottest accounts to your sequencer and reach out to them the same day they visited. You could implement this not only via cold email, you could also do WhatsApp messages, you can send them LinkedIn connection requests, right? And pretty much the approach would be such as, hey John, I saw that you were on a website, it's Hlib from Strongest, is there anything I can help you with? Or even without mentioning the website, just saying, hey, it's Hlib from Strongest, how can I help? And people will understand pretty much how you identify them. So the process is simple. Again, install our B2B, install the pixel, then you identify visitors by company and person, then you filter by ICP feed and pages visited. You can do it through Clay, so you can connect to Clay via webhook. Then you push qualified visitors to Slack, plus to sequencer, dependent on how you run your sales, and then reference or even not reference their visit in the first email. Doesn't matter. This will still get you a lot of replies. Trust me, especially on some hottest pages like pricing or case studies. Do not track everything on the website. Track 4 or 5 strategic pages, which make the most sense. That's how you win with website visitor tracking. The next play is complementary or competitor tool followers. This is really cool because what you need is you need to identify, if you're a B2B SaaS, what are your top 10 competitors, for example, if you have so many of them. And the idea would be to use the tools such as, for example, LeadsForge to scrape all of the followers of this tool on LinkedIn. This is, again, very powerful method. Again, if you have 100K followers from one competitor, it doesn't make sense to scrape all of them. I recommend in LeadsForge, for example, you can set up all of the filters when it comes to job title or geography. So for example, if you are some sort of HR tool and you want to scrape the audience of your competitor, just scrape all of the HR people. Don't go for just everyone. That's kind of the way to do it. You won't waste credits, you won't waste time, and you'll have pretty much curated list from the get-go. And in the message, again, you can reference them following the tool, or you can just assume their interest in the topic since they already follow the tool about HR as the example. But you could even say, hey, John, I saw you following X tool. Are you using them? Simple as that, really nice conversation opener. And then if they answer yes, no, you can take the conversation from there. You can expect also pretty good reply rates on those campaigns if done right. I would say 10% is not even the limit here. However, yeah, depends on how well you execute it. Same with complementary tool followers. Then you just don't try to sell against the tool, then you sell with the tool. Hey guys, so you're following this tool. We are a great partner for this one. We can integrate and we add you X capabilities. Would you be interested to hearing more? Simple as that. And the last one, probably my favorite again, which can stack up really nicely and bring a lot of leads. This is event outbound. So you need to find people attending an industry event to either scrape the attendee list officially if the event kind of supplies you with the list when you buy the ticket, or use Scraper to do it, or you use Trigify again to scrape all of the people mentioning going to X event. And you can run 3 different campaigns dependent on the timing, which is pre-event, book the meetings, right? Then during the event, and of course post-event. This is like the easiest 50% reply rate you'll ever get, because people go to events to talk to other people, to make some connections, make money, and of course they want to talk to as many people as possible. So that's awesome thing to do. How we run it, find entity list for going post on LinkedIn. Again, use Trigify to scrape those signals. Then you run pre-event campaign. Could be something like, hey John, I saw that you are going to Web Summit. I'll be there too. We at X company do Y. If you're not against it, shall we grab some coffee during the event? And you'll be surprised by how many people will tell you, yes, Hlib, I want to grab some coffee with you. Let's do it. And then you just send them calendar link, or they send you theirs to just lock in the spot. Works really nicely. Again, easily 50% reply rate if done right. If the event is not really like super massive and you know exactly who you want to talk with. And I'm sure your value prop and your company description should resonate well with the right people. And you'll get so many good replies. As you can see here, this is the whole stack which we use to run all of the 5 plays. Feel free to pause the video and maybe copy some of the names, which you could then use later. But yeah, everything goes pretty much through Clay. That's the operational system for the GTM as of now. And here you can see how 500 monthly replies actually happen, right? So they are spread evenly, dependent on the play, but you don't really need to send huge volume to get good sort of reply rates. For example, for event outbound, you can just do LinkedIn, that's enough. No need to even send emails. Same for social listening. You can see where the volume is lower. You can leverage, let's say, more in-person channels, such as LinkedIn. But yeah, that's how the math is working in this case. And some of the patterns which are placed across all of the 5 plays, and that's what makes it work. First is relevance over volume. As you can see, for none of the campaigns, we have some stupid amount of volume, such as like 50, 100K emails sent. You can, of course, do it if you want to. However, you can be slightly more strategic, dependent on how well equipped your sales team is and how many meeting requests they can handle. But quite often, smaller and signal-driven lists outperform just massive cold lists. Then timing beats copy, of course. When you have really strong signal and it's fresh, be prepared to get more responses. That's why I put emphasis on doing the reach out as soon as possible. As soon as the signal is identified, you just do it. Just go for it. And the third thing is they stack on top of each other. You can combine them all together. For example, social listening with event outbound. That's my last video, worked really well. Same could be with, I don't know, competitors or complementary tools. Going to the events doesn't really matter. The more kind of signals you stack on top of each other, probably the better email you'll send and the better responses and response rates you'll get. So that's about the patterns. And if you are now feeling slightly lost like Hlib, this is all cool. I really love it. But how do we start? Here's how I would do it. Of course, you don't have to try and launch all 5 at once. It doesn't make sense. But for me, logically, I would roll them out in this particular order, starting with lookalike campaigns, because it's easiest to launch. You just use data which you already have. You don't need to build anything specific, anything extra. Then you could do the website visitor tracking. You just set it once and forget, and it actually compounds over time. So for website visitor tracking to really start working, you need at least 2 to 3 months to start seeing the patterns and adjust, let's say, on which pages we want to track the visitors. Then social listening, highest reply rates, but this sometimes requires quite often like daily monitoring. I mean, in a way that sometimes you need to change the keywords, or maybe you need to stop this thing at all because it's not relevant anymore. So be aware that this will require more attention from you. Then event outbound, I mean, doesn't have to be at week 7, 8, but rather be aware of when the next event is happening in your niche and be prepared to start sending messages 2 weeks prior to the event. That's important. And complementary tool followers or competitor tool followers, I would scale it once the first 4 are running, because for this you need to still think about the copy, how to do it correctly. But again, you're not limited, but this is more of the, let's say, later place which we implement for our clients. Yep. And we implement, as I said, all of those for ambitious B2B companies. If you ever need help, or you're curious about, let's say, more in-depth breakdown of how to do it, feel free to book a call with our team. The link will be in description. Let's have a chat, and I'll make sure, or one of our team members will make sure to show you all of the workflows. You can learn, implement yourself, or if it makes sense, we'll work together and we'll do it for you, and you'll start seeing all of those crazy reply rates. Would be awesome. And again, let me know if there is any other topic which you think I should cover. I'll do it for you. And as always, thanks for watching, and see you in the next one. Ciao.